In her first story, we see how veteran broadcast journalist Bill Kurtis discovered a sanctuary in southeastern Kansas.
I was driving my parents around. They are now in their 80s, still living in Independence, Kansas, very well. And we happened to drive 40 miles west of Independence to this area. And I said, well, where is this? I've been everywhere in the world, and my favorite place, Africa, just happens to look exactly like this. An escarpment that comes down into the Masai Mara along the Great Rift Valley, with valleys of green and hilltops like this of grass. I said, I don't remember this from high school. And so I became very interested, hooked up with my cousin Jack, who never left the home area like this. And lo and behold, this beautiful ranch became available. And it's as attractive and unique an area as mountains are to the west, beaches to the south. This is prairie, the heartland of America. There's no place like it in the world.
Located a few miles northwest of Sedan in Chautauqua County, the 5,000-acre Red Buffalo Ranch was recently acquired by Bill Kurtis, who grew up in Independence, Kansas, after his father retired from the military.
I was able to start junior high in Independence school system, and then went on through high school, a year of junior college there, then on to KU and Washburn Law School, graduating in 1966.
While finishing his law degree at Washburn, Bill worked as a TV reporter for WIBW, the CBS affiliate in Topeka. He happened to be on duty when a deadly tornado tore through the city on June 8th of 1966.
If you live in the north part or on the northern edge, for God's sake, take cover.
The tornado carved a broad path of destruction across Topeka, killing 17 people and demolishing scores of homes and buildings. His crucial role in warning residents about the approaching storm left the young reporter with a newfound respect for the value of broadcasting.
But I had, meanwhile, accepted a job at a trial firm in Wichita when I graduated in '66, and I was struggling with the decision, what should I do, broadcasting or law? And the tornado came through Topeka. I happened to be on the air, and it seemed like God was showing me an awfully big sign, stay in broadcasting, young man, and there will be a future there.
Indeed, he did have a future in broadcasting. Following his alert and competent coverage of the tornado, he was offered a job as a reporter with a CBS affiliate in Chicago. From there, he moved on to become a correspondent for CBS News, reporting from Los Angeles and from the war in Vietnam. In a few years, he went back to Chicago to anchor the local news before moving on to New York and co-anchoring the CBS Morning News. Eventually, he returned to Chicago once again, where he presently operates his own company, producing programs like The New Explorers, a series now seen on the Arts and Entertainment Network.
The New Explorers was a PBS program. We started out like that. It was a science adventure program. We have now done 80 of those. It's taken me all around the world, sort of the, I guess, the ultimate dream that I had when I was trying to do everything in high school and travel at the same time. And I'm still doing it because A&E purchased it from PBS.
Bill currently hosts two other weekly series seen on A&E, American Justice and Investigative Reports, in which he's able to apply some of the rhetorical skills he honed in law school.
It is America's most controversial religion. Some, in fact, say it's not a religion at all. For 40 years, the Church of Scientology has flourished in this country, while under constant attack from the government, the media, and the psychiatric profession.
He continues to travel all over the world for his various productions, but he flies down to his ranch in southeastern Kansas whenever he can find the time.
I'd like to spend more time. Right now, I'm still producing heavily, traveling heavily, and my company happens to be in Chicago, but I get here more and more. I'll tell you exactly one reason why I love it, and you'll have to bear with me as we pause. Let's say 5 to 6 seconds, and you will be able to hear the reason. End case. I rest my case. We don't hear a plane. We don't hear a turnpike going by. It is as quiet and as peaceful and as meditative a spot, I think, as I have been. And for that reason, and the beauty, I have sort of found a spiritual center in my elderly years. I have been in Nepal, and I've thought about this ranch and had to get back here. It's kind of a connection with the land. It's the same feeling that you feel in Africa. It's like you can stand barefoot on the soil and feel the pulse of the earth beneath your feet. And that's why I think the Indians had the right idea. They worshiped the sky and the earth. They worshiped the nighttime as much as the day. And looking around, they had everything. They had game in the valleys, and they had buffalo riding these hills.
Although he plans to bring buffalo back to forage here again someday, for now he's content to graze cattle in his pastures, recently becoming a member of the Tallgrass Prairie Producers. The day we were there, a shipment of cattle from Texas arrived at the Red Buffalo.
These cattle had to be sold because of the drought down there. They've made the whole trip all the way from the Oklahoma-Texas line up into Kansas. We want to get them into the pens, let them cool off, get them some feed, some water. But they look surprisingly well. We have one black cow comes back looking for the calf, looking for the baby. Of course, when you go into the cattle business, you immediately go into a nonprofit business. If anybody, I've asked in Chicago and Kansas, how do you make money from cattle? Because everybody wants to do it, and they say, get out of it now. But it's a wonderful life. The cattlemen are the best environmentalists we have, because they have to have grass or they won't have cattle. They won't be in business.
So it can come back. It's been very dry here, but it still looks good.
Keeping an eye on the health of his pastures, it's not news to this well-informed journalist that fire is a valuable tool in maintaining them, a fact that's reflected in the name of the ranch.
Red Buffalo is the Indian name, the Osage Indian name for fire on the prairie. It came like a red buffalo over the hills. And in fact, when we were burning last spring, we burned about 3,000 acres in a day because we had a good wind, much stronger than it is now. It caught the flames and we were in the car. We had to run like the wind. And it is a frightening sight to see a wall of flame 30 feet high coming your way. But the ranch lived up to its name. The Red Buffalo was on the move.